You're most welcome to this lunchtime news. We are live both on air and online. My name is Sandra Kahonde. It is the 25th day of March 2023. Happy to be here and to serve you. Now, to start off this newscast, we start off with a sad one, though, that is coming through. The Nation television journalist Edward Muhumuza has died in a car crash along Entebbe Expressway. The accident involving a Toyota Passo car he was driving happened this morning at Mpala on the Entebbe Expressway. According to eyewitness accounts, the deceased lost control of his vehicle at around 7 a.m. a few meters after the Mpala-Yunra toll gate as he was driving from Kampala towards Entebbe side. According to the workmates, Muhumuza was driving to Nkumba University where he was pursuing a Bachelor's of Science, a degree in journalism and public relations. Muhumuza's body has been taken to City Mortuary Mulago for post-mortem. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Now, moving in on other updates for the day, the government and the private sector have been urged to support women in becoming owners and content creators in the digital and technology industry. The Women and Media Symposium 2023 experts emphasized that this would uplift the visibility of the women in the industry, which currently stands at less than 5% of venture funding going to women-led startups.
Let me invite Dr. Litho to present this award. Cannot question her presence in the space of journalism today. And so we want to say thanks. Internship, raising young women in journalism. You first tell us.
My colleague, senior colleague over there, I'm tired, I've talked, I have to move away. It takes interest. People have moved on, but when you have that passion, interest, mentorship in you to actually groom the upcoming, you make it.
Intentional to bring on board the young people. And I think we've been trying to do that. And for that matter, I would like to thank each one of you, particularly the young people. Please come and fill these spaces.
Now, Uganda is targeting a new export revenue of $6 billion by 2028 as the Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industry Development establishes a representation in key export markets. Our reporter has more details on how the Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industry Development plans to boost Uganda's export trade.
High interest rates, corruption and point structure have been cited as the leading causes of losses in Uganda's export trade. But the Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development is now stepping in with representatives in Uganda's key export markets to provide technical expertise and help boost exports.
Market research in about 5 markets where we have appointed trade representatives, so DRC, UK, and we use UK as a base to get into Commonwealth countries, the Balkans, then South Africa recently. We are using South Africa for SADC to see if we can get Lesotho, Botswana, but out of South Africa. And then in the US, we picked the city of Chicago in the Midwest.
According to the chairperson of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industry Development, Audrey Rawogo, the committee has developed strategies to help Uganda penetrate regional and international export markets.
Stop going to markets blindly. Going to markets blindly is you produce sorghum, fish, but you don't know the tastes and preferences of the person who will consume this. The second one is once you have the market demands standards. And those standards are to do with food safety, with how you protect your environment. There's even a new thing called ESG, environmental sustainability and governance. And so that second intervention is to see how we improve the standards or comply with global trading regulations.
To achieve its target, the Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development has scheduled a two-day trade representatives forum to bring together public and private sector institutions to devise ways for the country to attain the stated target.
You have to act as a team of 11 or more to ensure that you are seeing the same dashboard. So because of that, we decided let's call the captains of the private sector of the 13 products where we are raising $6 billion. So coffee, tea, sugar, fish, vegetables, bananas. Let's call them in the room. And then let's call all institutions of government that interface with them, even if they do it without knowing. So Ministry of Agriculture is critical because it has crop division, animal division. You have those divisions, but if they don't enhance the work of an exporter, there is nothing that we've gained.
This move is a significant step towards boosting Uganda's export trade, which has been struggling due to several challenges.
Companies that are trying to export are competing with China, who gets 1% interest before they sell in Africa. That's why you have, of all our imports, if I take January, 45% of our imports came from Asia. 70% of that 45 came from China and India. It tells you something. There must be export funding they give to their companies. As long as they identify market, they bring their goods.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Thank you, Mary, for the report. The second Eastern Agricultural Show has opened at Awoje Riverside Farm in Soroti District under the theme Climate Action for Sustainable Agricultural Productivity. The event was officially opened by the Iteso Cultural Union Minister for Agriculture, John Oluma, on behalf of the Emorimori Papa Sunday Emoloit.
Accident, so ikoni jo insurance so neda right de remam itwaniari noi otamakoru ozombo zombo na inani koliosi kala zaire yenuoni zaire ano.
Your Majesty, you're welcome. My name is Winnie Nanteza.
But also here we are creating a closer relationship between the seed company and the farmer, all right? It's more personal here than when a farmer walks into a shop just to buy seed and whatever other input. So yes, we have the demo section, and again, we are very grateful to the 9 companies that have committed themselves to do this.
Why watermelon? It matures in a short period and it has got a hot market in the nearby districts, Kimbale, Malaba, Busia, where they take it to Kenya. When it comes to the tomatoes, tomato kilele is a tomato that was made with heat tolerance genes. So even when we don't have rains in Teso, it is always a must that when you follow the right agronomic practice, the farmers succeed and hence they're able to pocket some money.
The significance of this show is purely to check what we grow in our region and to see what can be adopted as a new crop in our region with the help of our experts from NARO and other organizations.
Basically, aims at bringing agricultural innovations and technologies near to the people of Teso. This is the second time that we're organizing this, and we believe farmers can easily get access to many of these agricultural technologies, some of them of which they hear.
Guidance, we can get more people from the land of
Returning shortly with more news updates. Stay with us.
Jerry-con! Jerry-con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Bang Jerry-con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundawa! Best group is I teach you. But never go to which the muscari. Because of the cover is very far. Is you serious? It's just you. What? Yeah? Just type it on it. Add kilometers to your legs. And you get your sugar. We buy milk from Umaru. And Umaru refused to give you enough meat. Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru,
okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
This is our family's pride.
This is my friend.
This is the future of our nation.
She is the future of Uganda, and the policies I enact today will protect her from teenage pregnancy.
She is the hope of our community, and I will talk to others about how we must protect her.
She is our family's pride, and I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Their support meant so much to me. I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
The Chillax bundles from Airtel have been upgraded. Introducing Voice Chillax bundles. No validity, no expiry, no worries. Dial *100 *1 hash, select voice bundles and choose your preferred Voice Chillax bundle today. Talk longer with loved ones across Uganda with Voice Chillax bundles that don't expire. Airtel, the smartphone network.
With God, comfort replaces pain. Peace replaces confusion. Hope replaces sorrow. God loves you and knows you personally. He hears you and speaks to you in your thoughts, in your heart, and through living prophets. Come hear the words God has for you.
Watch the General Conference on Sunday, 2nd of April.
Glow as you are with the new Spark 10 series smartphone from Airtel in partnership with Tecno. Own the timelines with picture-perfect selfies using the 32-megapixel selfie camera, 256GB storage, G88 gaming processor, and a strong battery to last the whole day. Towakana.
The Spark 10 smartphone comes with free 3GB from Airtel and 100% bonus on weekly and monthly bundles every month for 3 months, so you can stay connected to a world of possibilities. Dial *100 *5 hash to enjoy free data. The new Spark 10 is available in all selected Tecno shops countrywide. Airtel, the smartphone network in partnership with Tecno. Stop at nothing.
Welcome once again. You're still watching Lunchtime News coming your way from Nile Avenue Broadcast House. Now, in our international updates, World Athletics President Sebastian said the decision to exclude transgender women who had gone through what he called male puberty was based on the need to protect the female category.
Ko said that the decision to exclude transgender women who had gone through what he called male puberty was based on the overarching need to protect the female category. The new rules will also impact athletes with what is known as differences in sex development, or DSD. One of the most famous cases of DSD is South Africa's two-time Olympic 800-meter winner Caster Semenya, who has XY chromosomes and blood testosterone levels in the male range. The council vote requires DSD athletes such as Semenya and Namibia's silver medalist Christine Mboma to take testosterone-reducing medication and maintain low levels of the hormone for 2 years before they are cleared to compete. The news has elicited mixed reactions from the global sporting community.
It's quite a loss for transgender people, and I think in Australia we're feeling it very hard. We've just had 2 very bad weeks with the Posey Parker tour around Australia, and everyone's worn very, very thin by it. And this ruling coming on the back of that has been pretty tough.
Well, it's not a ban, it just actually moves to protect the female category to female competitors. And it was an excellent decision. But, you know, it's all the national athletic federations that we really need to thank for this, as they pushed back against World Athletics' failed experiment to continue with testosterone reduction for males who identified as females in female sport.
Still on international talk, 4 Nigerian presidential contenders who lost the election have filed their petitions in court challenging the results. Atiku Abubakar from the biggest opposition People's Democratic Party and Labour Party's Peter Obi won Nigeria's election board to hold a new vote. The ruling APC party candidate Bola Tinubu was declared the winner in February's election.
Petitions before the court are unique in some way. Either of the candidates who came second and third in the presidential election wants the court to declare them winner of the election or cancel it altogether. In his petition, Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, who came second in the presidential election, wants the court to declare him the winner. He alleges that Bola Tinubu, who won the election, was not qualified to have contested in the first place, as he was allegedly convicted for a drug-related offense in the United States in the past. The petition is similar to that of Peter Obi, the candidate of the Labour Party, who came third in the presidential election. He wants the courts to either declare him winner of the presidential poll held in February or order a fresh election to be held without the APC candidate, alleging that Tinubu was not qualified to have taken part in the polls in the first place. Obi, like Atiku Abubakar, is also citing the alleged conviction of Tinubu in the United States as grounds for his petition. Obi is also arguing that the electoral body, the Independent National Electoral Commission, breached its own guidelines in the conduct of the election. 2 other smaller political parties, the Action Alliance and the Allied People's Movement, have also filed separate petitions demanding that the 25th February election be declared void.
The court will follow all the stages of the process and proceeding in order to arrive at justice in this particular matter. You know, they have just filed. And the Electoral Act has given grounds for you to succeed. One is for you to show the evidence of the fact that the man who has been declared the winner was not fit or was not qualified in the first place, or that he was declared winner not in compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act, or that he did not meet up with the number of votes that should have actually made the INEC or the umpire to declare him the winner.
Whatever happens at the appeal court could be subject to further appeals at the Supreme Court, and it's very likely that regardless of the eventual verdict of the appeal court, the Supreme Court may have the final say on all the petitions. In all, though, the appeal court has 180 days within which to hear the petitions and deliver judgments on them, and for the Supreme Court, it's 60 days.
The focus of the petition that we have seen so far from one of the candidates, the third candidate, it does not actually say in material way that he won the election. It basically says that the person that won the election is not qualified, and as a result, certain steps should be taken so that they can either be given the elections or the compete for the elections without that person participating. What is interesting is that it makes no note of the second person who is supposedly ahead of them in the election count. So it's a very interesting filing.
Abubakar and Obi came second and third respectively in the election, with Abubakar polling 29.07% of the total votes, while Obi polled 25.40%. Tinubu was declared winner of the presidential election with 36.61% of the total votes, getting at least 25% of the votes in more than two-thirds of the country's 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, which is one of the requirements to win the presidential election. Tinubu is due to be sworn in as president on May the 29th. It's highly unlikely the courts would have dispensed with the petitions challenging his election before the swearing-in ceremony. DG Bademasi, CGTN, Lagos, Nigeria.
Away from Nigeria, the National Monetary Fund says Somalia has made tremendous progress in its quest to write off a debt of over $5.2 billion. The Central Bank of Somalia is optimistic that this progress will help the Horn of Africa, a nation to attract direct foreign investment to turn around its economy.
Rahman Abdullahi has been working round the clock during the past 3 years to ensure about $5.2 billion burden on his country will be relieved. Now, the IMF has confirmed that by the end of this year, Somalia will reach the completion point.
We are going to reach a completion point as a country before the end of this year. But before that, we need to deliver. There are a number of conditionalities and benchmarks that are yet to be completed. We are very confident as a nation that we will be able to deliver. Central Bank is a key player in that process, and we are part of the reform and requirements under that program are being done at the Central Bank.
Despite the great news on the debt relief process, climate change-related shocks such as drought have impacted on the GDP, triggering inflation. However, the governor of Central Bank is optimistic that things will improve.
We are very small economy, and the government does not have the means to repay that at this time. But I think it will give us a good start once we reach the completion point, so we can turn the clock and the economy will improve from there. That's my very optimistic outlook.
Economists hope that once the debt relief process is complete, there's a need for direct foreign investment, particularly on areas liberated from the armed group Al-Shabaab during the past months.
I see as a big opportunity for Somalia getting its debt cleared. It's going to attract huge investment. And I don't want to forget the security progress we are making with the liberation going on. Very soon we hope that big swarms of land will be cleared and it will fall in the hands of the government and will need foreign investment. I mean, some of the areas have not received any support for the last 15 years. So I see those kind of communities, those kind of areas would definitely need quick cash to be injected. And I hope and I pray that the process, the completion process comes so fast in such a way that we are able to access foreign direct investment.
Somalia became eligible for debt relief 2 years ago, paving the way for the government in Mogadishu to significantly reduce its external debt.
During the recently concluded Somalia's national.
Now, still on international updates, the Police Commission of the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, Hilary Esau Kanu, yesterday visited the Jazeera Base Camp to assess the welfare of officers serving in the mission's formed police units. Kanu, who was accompanied by senior officers from the mission headquarters, toured the camp and held discussions with the Nigerian and Ugandan formed police units led by their contingent commanders, Superintendent of Police Ibrahim Mohammed and SP Juventen Ewuku. The visit comes a day after she concluded a 3-day tour of Jubaland, Hishabelle and Southwest states to familiarize herself with ongoing police programs in the sectors. Kanu, who holds the rank of Commissioner of Police, assured the officers of support from the ATMIS, a senior leadership, to ensure their stay in Somalia is not only meaningful but also successful. The delegation was also briefed on the operations conducted by the two units, achievements met and the challenges officers face while executing their duties. The police commissioner, who was visiting the base camp for the first time since assuming office early this month, hailed the cordial relationship between the Nigerian and Ugandan formed police units and thanked them for the selfless service. CP Kanu was accompanied by the new ATMIS Police Operations and FPU Coordinator, Assistant Commissioner of Police Ahmed Al-Latif, and the ATMIS Police Training and Development Coordinator SCP Samuel Asidu Okata. Now, getting into sports updates this Saturday, Uganda Cranes suffered a defeat at the hands of Tanzania as the two teams faced off on Friday. In the game played at Suez Canal Authority Stadium in Ismailia, Egypt, the Taifa Stars got a 1-0 win. Simon scored the lone goal of the game coming midway through the second half. Here's what the Cranes coach Misho had to say after the game.
Uganda Cranes, Mitchell Sadedijovic, Mountain, and my name is Alex Cassidy, taking you through this press conference of the Group F of Total AFCON qualifiers 2023. Yes, coach, you have lost your first game against Tanzania here in Ismailia. What is your comment and your take about the performance of your players and the entire game today?
First of all, we have come with the highest possible ambition in practically away game, playing on neutral ground as a home team. We have chosen to play here. We have come prepared very well. We are a team in transition, and when you are a team in transition, practically, you need gradually to introduce your boys into the highest level of football. In that regard, I'm happy with the first half, the way we have conducted, the way we have dominated, the way we have not allowed opponent to endanger our goal. We have entered immediately second half with practically 3 changes wishing to go into the risk, and when you go into the risk, you bring yourself that you are a bit opening the midfield and allowing opponent for counter-attack. One ball punish us, that ball by Job sent to the box for Simon Sua. We have thrown everything on the field, all the attacking options.
It's a wrap for this hour. More news updates will be coming your way later on in the day. Keep watching the National Broadcaster. My name is Sandra Kahunda, and salute from the team behind the scene.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
10 years of supporting health in Uganda. This year, the Kabaka Birthday Run will mark its 10-year anniversary on Sunday, 16th April at Lubidi, starting 7 a.m. And continue the fight to end AIDS by 2030. Buy your running kit today at 20,000 shillings from Airtel shops, Benchuanuka, Fubani, New Taxi Pack, or Majestic Brands office in Bulage Mengo. You can also pay using Airtel Money.